I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. When social and political issues arise, will you answer the call? Theater Nova's Kayak uses family dynamics, love, and climate change to explore how it can impact relationships and begs the question, will you fight for the planet's survival or ignore the issues that plague today's society?
We're doing a play called Kayak by Jordan Hall. It is a one-act.
This show is about a family, a mother and a son, and the new girlfriend in the picture, going through life and then having this massive world event kind of get in the way. It's very much about the cost of acting and our responsibility to make change and to stand up for what we want to see in the world and how that can cost us personally.
It's got a fabulous role for a woman my age. Her name is Annie Iverson. She is first and foremost a mother, and she cares about her son, Peter. And Peter brings home a girlfriend that Annie doesn't like that much.
Peter's in his early adulthood, and he meets Julie, who is a climate activist, and she's incredibly passionate about saving the planet and being eco-conscious. She ends up getting Peter involved in her world, much to Annie's chagrin.
This will resonate with everyone who comes to see the show on some level, whether it be the interesting family dynamics that happen or about the political and climate issues that are happening in the play.
It is smart, and it is funny, and it is heartbreaking in moments. It's powerful, and you should come see us.
Float through Kayak Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays now through February 22nd. For more, visit theaternova.org. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with more in exactly 30 seconds. Some activities require low temps, and one art form that involves the frigid cold is ice carving. Watch as one artist creates temporary sculptures on ice at County Farm Park. Washtenaw County Parks and Rec hosts the annual Ice Carving Festival at County Farm Park, with one sculptor burning through the ice with power tools, crafting brief beauty with large blocks of ice.
I think the most interesting thing about ice carving is the creativity that goes into it, creating something out of a square of nothing.
The festival had more than just visual arts. There was food and fun for the whole fam.
It's a really great gathering. They've got a lot of things going on. There's a petting zoo, there's food trucks, coffee, hot chocolate, place for the kids to play, all around fun. The 2026 Ice Carving Festival will be held at County Farm Park on February 28th from 12 to 4 p.m. This winter has been brutal, below freezing temps, inch after inch of snow, and dangerous driving conditions. Get some winter preparedness tips in this month's City Roundup in 60.
Hi, I'm Sydney Parmenter, the Emergency Management Coordinator with the City of Ann Arbor. Winter is well on its way here in Michigan, and while many look forward to winter festivities, it is equally important that we prepare for winter weather, which can include extreme cold temperatures, heavy snowfall, and accumulating ice, which can lead to hazardous traveling conditions and widespread power outages. Here are 3 things you can do to prepare yourself for winter weather. First, sign up to receive A2 emergency alerts by visiting www.washtenaw.org/alerts. Through the registration process, you can select to receive weather-related alerts via phone, text, and/or email. It is equally important that as a Washtenaw County resident, you are aware of the winter weather conditions and their protective actions. In addition to a watch, advisory, and warning, the county may issue a winter weather condition red or yellow. Under a winter weather condition yellow, motorists are encouraged not to drive. However, if you must, we ask that you take extreme caution and account for extended traveling times. Under snow condition red, we strongly encourage motorists not to drive. The second thing you can do to prepare is either create or review your household emergency plan. Your household emergency plan should include places to go to stay warm in the event of a power outage during extreme cold temperatures. This may include a family or friend or neighbor's home or a Washtenaw County warming center. To find a Washtenaw County warming center near you, please visit their website at www.washtenaw.org. And lastly, we strongly encourage that you create or update your household emergency kit and create one to keep in your vehicle. Some important materials to consider for your kit include a flashlight, a mobile phone charger, non-perishable food, bottled water, warm clothes, and extra blankets. For more information on how to build your kit, please visit www.ready.gov/kit. In closing, thank you for preparing yourself and your loved ones for winter weather. On behalf of the Office of Emergency Management, we wish you a happy and safe winter.
The truth can sometimes be hard to find, and that sentiment echoes through the pages of Doubt, a Parable, as the progressive Father Flynn combats a tradition at a Bronx Catholic school in 1964, prompting an unorthodox hunt for answers from the traditional Sister Aloysius. Joining me is Josiah Jackson, director of PTD's Doubt, a Parable. Josiah, tell me a little bit about yourself. How'd you get in the director's seat here?
Oh, that's a great question. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Uh, I like to say in a former life, but before I moved out to Ypsi, I used to live in this little township in Michigan called Columbus. And the town over was good old Richmond, Michigan. And back in the day, I used to be the director of the Southeast Michigan Youth Theater. And I would have like 120 children in a show and many singing trees in the background and lots of fish in the chorus. And I really honed my love for theater out there. And then when I came out to Ypsi, when I came out here for school, I got involved in PTD as an actor, where I was in two shows with them, August Osage County and Ripcord, both really, really fun productions. And then I took a little hiatus from theater. I really focused on my career for a little bit, plugged in here and there where I could, but I felt the siren song of the art form calling me back. And so I saw that PTD was putting out a call for directors last year, and I knew that it had been ever since I had read this play, Doubt, a Parable. It was on my dream list to direct, so I put in an application with PTD, went through their application and interview process, and then I was able to secure the theater was able to secure the rights and royalties to it, so we were able to put it on, and I was really excited. It's been quite a juxtaposition for me. I'm used to directing, like I said, 120 kids in a show, and this show has a cast of 4 roles.
When you said you were used to directing kids, first of all, kids are much harder to direct. They don't always
Yes.
want to listen to you.
Mm-mm.
So the sheer number of children you were directing is crazy pants. So then you have 4 people, and it's a pretty serious show too.
Yeah, I think it definitely has its somber moments. It's also really funny, which a lot of people don't expect. But I think when you mash up the personality of the characters of Sister Aloysius, this like deeply traditional person, with some of these more progressive leaning characters who are thinking about ways to make the church and life more accessible to folks. There's a great scene in the middle of the show where Sister Aloysius talks about how Frosty the Snowman is heretical and just so evil. And it's just fun to see those differences in then and now, I think. And so there's definitely some humor in it. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty somber show that looks at why we believe what we believe and the trap that certainty can hold.
do you have your own sort of Christianity background to want to do a show? Like, I was curious, do you have to have some religious ties to be like, I'm gonna, when you're directing a show, it
Mm,
becomes such a major part of you. And
yeah.
it's like all you think about, you basically have the script memorized. So I was just
Mhm.
curious, what's your own background with religion?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in, I like to call it a melting pot of different religious ideas. Um, One side of my grandparents are Lutheran, one side of my grandparents are Catholic. My Both of my parents are Pentecostal evangelicals. One side of my family, little outcrop, is Messianic Jews. And so there was a lot going on. I was that kid who was Bible study Monday, Christian homeschool co-oping on Tuesdays, Bible study again on Wednesdays. Thursday, a bit of a breather. Thursday out in the, or Friday out in the community. Saturday, doing usually like work around the church, and then in the pews on Sunday. So yeah, I was very religiously involved in my childhood. And I think right now I work at Washtenaw Community College in the English and Literature department. And I think like those stories from the Bible, those parables, all these things are such a bedrock of even my understanding of narrative, of life, of really so much of me, I think, is shaped by both like the church itself and then thinking about how I fit into it, how I don't fit into it, and how my world is different.
Well, and it's interesting to me. I've never seen the show. I've just like read a little bit about it. But it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like it is really about, the future of like religion and where religion is going in 1964. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously there it's a different time
Yeah.
too, and that you're almost shunned for not having that traditional
Yeah.
religious beliefs.
Absolutely, yeah. The play was written, or I should say, it was produced on Broadway in 2005, and so it was set in the 60s specifically because our playwright, John Patrick Shanley, really wanted to explore that pivot. Right, the 60s were such a cultural time of change in the United States. We were in the midst of the civil rights movement. Right, we were in the start of that new wave of the hippies, of the free love. Right, that cultural shift from the 1950s to the 1960s is so profound, and the church didn't get to exclude itself from that. Right, the church was the capital C church. Right, the church was such a part of that, and there were wings of it that were looking to change and to grow and to be different, and then there were also wings of it that were deeply resistant to that and holding back and saying, no, our traditions make us who we are, our traditions are what make it important. And so I think that both the time and the place echo so much of what I see today in the world. Of
This is what I was just about to get to. I was like,
Yeah,
it's interesting that when did you say this? 2004 or something?
five.
Five,
Yeah,
yeah.
2005 is when it
So it's
landed.
so interesting because reading the synopsis of this play, I was like, a lot of this stuff, and I assume I'm making assumptions because I don't know the play well. It sort of seems to resonate with what's going on today, where you don't know what's real and what's not.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's an amazing foreword that the author wrote to the play a little bit after it got some traction. And what he writes about there is how, even in 2005, how loud the world has become, how we get bombarded from side to side to side of here's what you need to believe, here's my evidence, here's what you should be doing. And people say it with such conviction and such certainty that you go, oh, they must know what they're talking about. But really, who knows who's talking about what? I think we're so both religiously, but also just culturally taught that when you are certain, you are safe. And if you know what you know, people can't get you and you will never get caught out. But what our play tries to communicate, I think, is that uncertainty is the mark of being alive. That when we have doubt instead of certainty, that it's not a failing to be doubting what we believe, but it's a mark that we're still alive and breathing, that we have the ability to make choices, we have the ability to change. I think one of the worst fates you could ever be given is saying exactly who you are right now for the rest of your life. I frankly like myself. I think it's pretty cool, but I could not imagine a worse hell than just living as static. right?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
just staying who you are. And what our this play suggests is that you can't change without doubt. Unless you have the bravery to doubt what you believe, unless you have the bravery to look behind your assumptions, then you're always stuck. And that certainty feels really good. It feels safe, but really, it's the start of entropy. It's the start of decay when you are so certain that you can never be moved.
It's interesting, and I think you can probably agree with this in your own personal life. I feel like, as someone that interviews someone a lot, I'm a listener and a learner. So when people come to me with that certainty, I do question it. But then, like if I were arguing with someone, I'm always more willing to listen to their beliefs and what they have to say to sort of form my own opinion about it. Where like I don't get those people who are like, this is right and this is the way it is, because I'm just not that person. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you can prove me wrong. I will admit if I'm wrong about something. So yeah, I don't
Mm-hmm.
really, I can't put myself in that place of that person that's like that, but there are so many people that are like that.
Yeah, I think if you look outside in our world, right, we see the havoc that certainty brings with it, right?
Hmm.
That I know I'm right and anyone who disagrees with me is my enemy. I think we see that in the rhetoric everywhere in our world right now. Or even, oh, those people, they're just like that. You're like, ooh, we're holding on to some assumptions and we're holding on to some certainty there. And I think it also robs us of the ability to see the world as it is, and we really force the world to become what we expect it to be.
Hmm. Yeah. Tell me about the characters, the cast, who's in the play. Do we know some of these people?
Yeah, so we have our two nuns in the play. There's Sister Aloysius, the senior nun, and Sister James, the junior nun. Sister Aloysius, she is our traditionalist. She's the principal of the school. She's been running the school for a long time. She knows what's what. She knows what works. And she's that very staunch nun stereotype almost. But she's far more nuanced than that in the show. You get to see behind that curtain, and you see that veneer of authoritarian that she has in the school is there to help protect the children, to help make it so that she can stand in the door and guard against the evils of the world so that they can just be children. But from the outside, she kind of looks like a meanie. And then we have Sister James, our younger Confederate, who is a passionate teacher who loves her children and really kind of embodies what we love about education nowadays, people who are passionate, people who really care. And Sister Aloysius doesn't like her teaching style in that way. She thinks she has a great line where he says, teach them history, but don't put sugar all over it. Right, just give them the facts. And so we get to see that interplay between these new ideas and these more traditional ideas playing out between these two nuns. They also have a deep disagreement about Father Flynn, who is another lead of the show. He's the priest in question, where Sister Aloysius is deeply suspicious that he is forming inappropriate relationships with some of the children at the school, but there's no hard evidence that that's actually happening. She has her certainty and her conviction, but one of the most beautiful parts about this show, and what I think people need to be prepared for if they come see it, you don't get any answers. You as an audience are left in doubt on purpose. It's up to you to decide whether you're going to reach for certainty at the end of the show or if you're going to allow that doubt to keep living with you and live in that uncomfortable space where you still can make choices. Father Flynn, he's very charismatic. He's very nice. He's great with the kids. He's a wonderful storyteller. He's one of those people that really invite folks into the church. And where some people see an open door and loving arms, Sister Aloysius sees some very, very dangerous aspects where she's like, this is not an appropriate way to be around children. Um, and then we have our final character in the show, Mrs. Muller. She plays a mother of one of the students, And a layer to this show is that her son, Donald Muller, who is spoken about much in the play, but it never actually appears on stage, is the first Black child in the school. We're set in 1964, so all of this is happening as they're integrating the school racially as well. And the crux of the play is on whether or not Father Flynn has formed an inappropriate relationship with this child. And Mrs. Muller comes in at the end to give some perspective and some I would say context to the lived experience, specifically of Black New Yorkers in this time, and their interplay with the church and with society at large. So yeah, those are our four characters. We have our two nuns, our priest, and our parent. It's a tight cast, and it's just been so wonderful to work with these actors. When we have this small of a cast, you really get to know people. You really get to start working with folks. We've got some people who've been with PTD a while in the play, and then we've got quite a few new folks too. So if you've seen a PTD production before, you might see a familiar face. But also, one of our actors moved to town about 3 weeks before the show auditioned, and how serendipitous that we're all able to come together for it.
It's interesting. I didn't know that component of the child being Black in it, which really
Mm,
adds another layer to the show, which makes it extremely more interesting to me.
I agree.
Talk about, you're at a Catholic school. It's 1964. What is the set going to be like? What is Riverside? Are you transforming?
Mm.
Is it minimal? What's your plan?
Yeah. So one thing that really drew me to this play, not to get all literature teacher on it, but one thing that drew me in was the literal title of the play. The title is not just doubt, it's a doubt, a parable. And parables are stories that are simple that teach a lesson. The world is complex. There's always a million and seven factors going into literally anything. But in the fiction of a play, you get to strip some of that away and try to get to the soul of the matter, really get in there. And what our play could do is just give some certain answers and leave it at that. But instead, it complicates the narrative. It makes you sit with that doubt. And I wanted to, especially with the set, really convey the heaviness and the seriousness of the topic, along with the fact that this is not real life. This is simpler than real life. So when you come in, you'll see a church edifice that we have some amazing artists drawing. We're working on some faux stained glass windows right now. We're going to have some beautiful archways. And all of the setting happens inside this church. And so we'll be bringing on a desk for the office, and we'll be bringing on some benches for when we're in the garden in between the rectory and the convent. But it's going to not be pure realism, because I never want us to forget we're watching a story. And the point of it is that it is a story that you take with you and you hold the doubt of it with you. So yeah, I would say it leans on the side of minimalist, but when you walk in, you'll be like, oh, this is a church.
I love this idea of this doubt that lingers with you after you leave, because I love seeing a movie or a show where when you walk away, you can't stop thinking about it and you can't stop talking about it. And even when you're not talking about it, it's still just like it's in there. It's like your wheels are turning. And I love that
Absolutely.
idea.
Yeah, yeah. One thing that I like to say, and is my personal belief, is I think the human soul is made of stories. I think that the stories we hear, the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves, I think those all layer up and make us who we are. And I really hope that this story, Doubt, stays with people and they integrate that into who they are, because we're so afraid of doubt. We're so afraid of being uncertain, but that fear holds us back from, I think, authenticity, from truth, from the joys of learning, right?
Mhm.
If you are so certain all the time that you know what's happening, you don't get the opportunity to be surprised. And so, what I hope is this story touches people's souls and makes them less certain which sounds like I want something bad to happen to them because of the way our culture works. But I don't. I really hope that they leave uncertain and that they leave room in their lives for uncertainty because it's such a gift.
When is the show?
Great question. So the show runs February 12th through the 15th and February 18th through the 21st. On Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, the curtain is at 7:30 p.m. Doors open about a half hour beforehand, 45 minutes beforehand. And on Sundays and Wednesdays, the curtain goes up at 2. It's at Riverside Arts Center in Ypsilanti.
And there's really not a bad seat in the house. You can see anywhere you sit, you can see the whole show.
You're going to be great. And it's general admission, so you get to get your ticket and sit wherever you want to sit.
Well, before we go, why do you think people should come check out your version of Doubt, a Parable?
Yeah, great question. I think that one, in the times we're living in, it's very important to support the arts. I think the arts are how we explore what it means to be a person, and it's a way to hold on to our humanity in deeply inhuman times. I think that simply going out and being in community is an act of resistance against forces in culture that try to scare us away from being together. So I think it's important just to go out and do something. Why you should do and come out and do this show specifically, I think it offers a good metaphor for why it matters to be a thinker, why it matters what you believe, and moreover, why it matters how you construct what you believe. And it does it in a way where you don't feel like you're sitting in philosophy class, really getting lectured at. It's a story that I think is accessible and is important for our day and for when it was written as well.
Well, thank you, Josiah. I think everyone should take a chance and go see this interaction between Father Flynn and Sister Aloysius and sort of make up their mind for themselves.
Exactly. Yep. And people can find more info about this PTD Productions on Facebook and ptdproductions.com. That's where you can find links to everything and grab tickets if you're so inclined.
Perfect. For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching and tune in next time to FYI.